Now a few nights before the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart this world and go to the Father. And Jesus, having loved his own who were in this world, he loved them to the end. And Judas, the devil, having come to him, that he might coerce him and put into his mind to betray Jesus. Well, they were having supper, and Jesus got up, believing that, or knowing that he had, that the Father had put all things into his hand, and that he had come from God, and that he was going back again. He took off his outer garment, and he found a towel, and he wrapped the towel around his waist, and he put water in a basin, and he began washing the disciples' feet. So as he was going around the room, he comes to Simon Peter. And Simon Peter says, "Will you wash my feet?" And Jesus, he says, "What I'm doing, you don't understand, but you will understand later." And Simon Peter says, "Never, Lord, will you wash my feet." And Jesus says, "If I don't wash you, you have no part in me." And Simon says, "Lord, don't just wash my feet then. Wash my hands and my head." Jesus said, "Whoever is clean does not need a full bath, just his feet, and you're clean. But not all of you." Now Jesus said not all of you because Judas Iscariot was in the room, and Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him. So Jesus got all the way around, and he put back on his outer garments and sat down, reclined at the table with the others. And he said to them, do you know what I've just done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right. That's what I am. So if I, your teacher and Lord, will wash your feet, then you should wash one another's feet. See, I've given you an example for you to follow. Well, the slave is not greater than the master, neither is the messenger greater than the one who sent him. And if you do these things, you will be, if you know these things and do them, you will be blessed by them. Of course, I'm not saying this about all of you. The prophecy must be fulfilled that says, "He who eats my bread has lifted up his heel against me." See, I have told you already, so that when it comes to pass, you will know that I am he. Whoever receives the one who I send receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. After this, Jesus became troubled in spirit, and he said, "I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me." And the disciples all looked at one another, and they didn't know who it was. Now there was one disciple, the one Jesus loved, who was leaning back against Jesus' breast, and Simon Peter motioned to him, and he said, "Ask him which one he's talking about." So the disciple leaned back against Jesus' breast, and he said, "Lord, who is it?" And Jesus said, "It will be the one whom I dip the morsel and give it to him." And Jesus dipped the morsel, and he handed it to Judas. And he said to Judas, "Whatever you have to do, go, do it quickly." So Judas got up. And now people heard this. Everyone heard that. And they said, Well, they wondered. I mean, they thought that perhaps Jesus had told Judas something that he had to buy, or perhaps to give some money to the poor, because Judas took care of the money. Well, Judas left, and it was nighttime. And Jesus got up and he said, "Now is the time for the Son of Man to be glorified, and for God to be glorified in him, and God to glorify himself in him, and God to glorify himself in the Son of Man immediately." And Jesus said to them, "Little children, I'm with you only a short time longer. And what I told the Jews and the leaders, I say it also to you. Where I go, you cannot follow. You will look for me, but you cannot follow. But I give you a new commandment. Love one another. This is how the world is going to know that you're my disciples, if you love one another." Simon Peter said, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus said, "Where I go you cannot follow, but you will follow later." Simon Peter said, "Why can't I follow you now? You know, Lord, I would give my life for you." And Jesus said, "Will you really give your life for me? Truly, truly, I say unto you, before the cock crows 3 times, you will deny me."